I woke up on Twitter this morning and people were riled up about where James Wood is batting. If you weren't aware, James Wood batted 6th in yesterday's game. And I can tell you this, it was absolutely wrong.
You are Locked On Nationals, your daily Washington Nationals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. And of course, I'm your host, Ryan Clary. You can catch me over on Twitter at RyanClary11 and as well as our show page at LO_Nationals. For all your latest Nationals news and notes, make sure to check us out over on Twitter. And of course, while you're at it, make sure to search up Locked On Nationals wherever you get your podcasts. And of course, you can catch us again on YouTube. Just look up Locked On Nationals. Hit a subscriber button. Hit a like. Hit a dislike. Whatever you want, leave a comment as well. I will try my best to get back to you then and there. Later on in today's show, we will discuss Nationals Giants Game 4 as it is a DJ Herz day on this Thursday. I'm looking out the window now, though. I don't know if we're going to get this game in today. I said that about last night's game, but I kind of pride myself on being a weather guy. Ultimately, I swung. I took a big old swing yesterday with Bobby Blanco, said that they would not play. They did play. They played all 9 innings, and it was not really disrupted whatsoever. So maybe I'm not a meteorologist, but we'll discuss Game 4 day as it is DJ Herz day on this Thursday. So we'll discuss that a little bit later on. Also, Keibert Ruiz. As the season has gone on, he has gotten better, but there still needs to be more, right? We'll discuss that a little bit later on in today's show as well. Where should James Wood be in the Nationals lineup? I woke up today. My very good friend Grant Paulson discussed this over on Twitter yesterday as the Nationals batted James Wood 6th in the lineup yesterday, with Alex Cole batting 2nd, Harold Ramirez batting 4th, and Ildemaro batting 5th. Well, I can tell you this, James Wood should not be batting behind those guys. We'll discuss that and why I think that. But before we get into it, today's show is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. And of course, terms do apply. So let's get into it, because this call for a not emergency, but I do kind of like scrolling through Twitter, just like we all do. And I stumble upon people upset about James Wood batting 6th in yesterday's lineup. And I'm here to tell you, you should absolutely be upset about that. I look back to last summer, and we all kind of know maybe what I'm leading into here. But if you remember with CJ Abrams last year, CJ Abrams was batting 9th, batting 8th, kind of going back and forth in the beginning of 2023, not really doing all too much. People are starting to kind of look around the corner and say, is CJ Abrams going to be really that good here? And then around mid-June, early July, Davey Martinez made the switch from CJ Abrams from 9th to leadoff, and that is when he took off. That is what needs to happen with James Wood. And even then, James Wood is not struggling at this point in time. James Wood, in fact, has been one of the better Nationals hitters over his last 11 games. James Wood, over his last 11 games, he's batting .385, a 500 OBP, a .667 slug. That is an 1167 OPS, everybody. James Wood is not struggling whatsoever. Ildemaro Vargas is not on fire by any means. Alex Cole, he is on fire, but still we know what Alex Cole is. James Wood should not be batting behind guys like Alex Cole, Ildemaro Vargas, and Harold Ramirez. Putting James Wood up in the lineup, number one, it's the smart analytical thing to do with baseball. You want your better or best hitters to have more opportunities at the plate. Everyone always remembers batting first. If you're batting first, you're the speedy guy who will get on base. Then if you're second, you're going to be the contact hitter. If you're third, you're typically usually the better hitter on the team. The fourth is your power guy. Analytics have kind of thrown that away. Your best hitter bats leadoff. CJ Abrams right now, that is your best hitter. Your second hitter is your second best hitter. That is where James Wood should be. James Wood should be your second hitter, or at least your third. Because when you have guys like Harold Ramirez or an Alex Call or even an Ildemaro Vargas ahead of you, James Wood is becoming a target in a Nationals lineup that doesn't really have that many targets. If you have some protection in there, then you could see James Wood even take off even more so than what he has been over his last 11 games. And again, even while batting sixth and kind of flip-flopping him around in the lineup, he still has 2 doubles. He's even got 3 triples. He's got a home run, and he has 10 RBIs over his last 11 games. James Wood is starting to step into what we thought he could be. But even then, the lineup placement right now, even while him doing really well at this point, he should be up in the lineup. He should be your second hitter at this point. We talked about this with 2024. What are the goals? I can tell you one of the goals that they aren't. There are a few of them, rather. Alex Call breaking out in 2024, that's not one of the goals. Harold Ramirez establishing himself as a DH for the Nationals, that isn't a goal. Ildemaro Vargas establishing himself as a solid utility guy for the Nationals and being in the middle of this lineup, that wasn't one of the goals. James Wood breaking out and making things as easy as possible for him to break out, that is the goal. The goal. And going forward in the future, James Wood is not going to be batting sixth. Move him up in the lineup. It's as simple as that. That is where he should be. That is where he belongs. And for really the people who say otherwise, that's crazy to think. Everything about this team right now screams, we are not making the postseason, and we know that. You have to put guys in positions to succeed and get used to this. James Wood batting sixth, you don't want him getting used to that. Plus, again, the reason why I brought up CJ Abrams and having him kind of be in this equation here, immediately once he was moved from ninth to leadoff, you saw him take off. I always kind of think about this, and I do pride myself in thinking this way. Baseball is a lot of mind games. Baseball is a mind game, in fact. You fail a lot more than you succeed in baseball, and that is a rare commodity in team sports. You do fail a lot. It is a hard game. But if you give someone that confidence boost, putting him up in the lineup, a young 21-year-old who deserves it, by the way, imagine the confidence boost there. Imagine what it thinks. We may not think about that all too much, but still moving him up in that lineup may give him that extra boost, like we saw with CJ Abrams last summer. Alex Call, Ildemaro Vargas, Harold Ramirez should never be in front of James Wood. It is as simple as that. Never. And again, the Nationals, by the way, they lost the game yesterday. It was 7-4. It wasn't because of that. But you have all these guys in front of James Wood, and it's a frustrating watch. This is one of my big takeaways. Davey Martinez always does this. I don't know what it is, but you can't get this right. You cannot. And some people may think, aren't you going a little too hard in the paint on this scenario? No. This is about the future. This is about James Wood right now. If you wanted to compete and try to win games, which the Nationals do every single day, that's their job. That's what they're going to do. They're not going to tank, even though we kind of know what's happening the last 2 months here. In order to win games and to put yourself in a position to do so, James Wood should be your second hitter. He should be right behind CJ Abrams. That should be your 1-2 punch, because that's going to be your 1-2 punch for hopefully the next 7+ seasons. That is where James Wood and really this organization should be right now. Looking forward to the future, trying to get as many reps as possible, and getting James Wood up to the plate as many times as you can. So James Wood batting 6th, I want that to be in the past. It should be in the past. Because he is not a 6th hitter. He is a 2nd hitter or a 3rd hitter, or hell, even a leadoff hitter. Because in this time frame as well, he's got 3 stolen bases over his last 11 games. James Wood should never be behind Harold Ramirez. Should never be behind Alex Call. And certainly should never be behind Ildemaro Vargas. James Wood should be batting 2nd, and that is where he belongs. Thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. Now, one of the goals as well for me was Keibert Ruiz. He has been better, but how much better has he been? And is it really going to save what the inevitable could be with him maybe not being the catcher of the future? We'll discuss that and tell you what I think about Keibert Ruiz at this point in time. Before we get into it, I'm going to tell you about our friends over at Game Time. And guys, you know about Game Time. You know that they are an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. And of course, prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to the first pitch. And of course, with last minute deals, all in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guaranteed, Game Time take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. Maybe you're going to today's Giants-Nats game. It is a cloudy, rainy day out. So you know what? There's going to be some nice flash zone deals there. You can walk up Half Street, open up Game Time, and as you're walking, you can find images from your seats. And of course, their lowest price is guaranteed. You can find your tickets there, find the flash zone deals, buy a ticket, and then bam, you're in the ballpark all within a few clicks with our friends at Game Time. There are last-minute deals. You can save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and much more. So you can take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply again. Create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we're free and available wherever you get your podcast. It is a DJ Herz day on this rainy Thursday. Cat in the hat type stuff there. You hear me? So we'll discuss that a little bit later on in today's show. But we lead off with James Wood. Maybe some nasty stuff on a nasty day. But now we get into Keibert Ruiz. Keibert Ruiz has improved. But is it enough? Keibert Ruiz got his extension last year, and he has been good. He did take a step up in 2023, but I still expect more. I expected more. Keibert Ruiz was a pretty big prospect coming out from the Dodgers before he made his debut back in 2020. And in 2021, when the Nationals traded for him, he was a top 35 prospect in all of baseball. He was expected to be an offensive first kind of catcher who could bring power, who had a solid arm, nothing special, but people thought he would be pretty good defensively as well as a very good offensive catcher. So far in his career, he has not been good defensively, and offensively, it has been a roller coaster to say the least. But Keibert Ruiz, he has improved, so let's get into it. He's batting .280, a .301 OBP, and a .480 slug with a .781 OPS over his last, really since the beginning of July. And that's right around probably 28 games since July 1st. But for Keibert Ruiz to really make everything worth it, for Keibert Ruiz to be your franchise catcher, I think you can kind of forget the fact that he's going to be stout defensively. That's just not what he is. So in order for him to be a very good catcher, well-rounded overall, he needs to be stout offensively. While these numbers are relatively solid for catchers, they still aren't good enough for how bad defensively he is. And he can't get it done defensively as well. According to Baseball Savant, his framing is in the 30th percentile, which, by the way, is not good. It's been improving. But overall, it's still not good. He's still well below average. His pop time is in the 1st percentile. Probably the worst in all of baseball. That's not good. The new rules have made it harder for catchers to do their job. And also, framing could be going away here, so maybe that's taken out of the equation when you have automated strike zones eventually. But for Keibert Ruiz to really kind of take control of this job and do what's best for the team, he needs to be a stout offensive guy. He simply is not that just yet. He isn't. And I don't think we can go into next season thinking that Keibert Ruiz is going to be some stout offensive guy at this point in time. What gives you the confidence in that? We have seen throughout Keibert Ruiz's career, the only consistent thing about him has been his inconsistencies. I don't see him turning it around at this point. I unfortunately think Keibert Ruiz is what we are seeing right now. A solid at times offensive catcher and a very poor defensive catcher at the same time. That balances out to be a solid catcher, but he is certainly replaceable. And here's the beauty of it, though. Keibert Ruiz and the extension that he got, it's pennies. Maybe not compared to what the Learners have been spending over the last few years, but at the end of the day, big picture-wise, it's really nothing. Keibert Ruiz, though, if he's going to be the future of your catching position, he's not going to get it done defensively. He's going to have to do it offensively. And you may be asking, well, what kind of defies that? I need to see power. Because that has been one of the biggest concerns with Keibert Ruiz, in my opinion. While he does have more home runs, 5 home runs since July 1st, I could even see more than that. The switch hitting catcher, while he has been solid, he still hasn't been great. His strikeout percentage is still very elite. He puts the ball in play. But I remember talking about this last year. His expected batting average, his expected slugging, it's always so elevated. And you're like, why is this not clicking for him yet? I just think that he's one of those guys where he looks a lot better because he puts the ball in play all the time. And the analytics will back that up. But the hard, solid contact just really isn't all there. In order for Keibert Ruiz to really kind of make me feel comfortable about him being the catcher long term, he's going to have to hit for a lot more power than what he has done. A lot more. 10 extra base hits over his last 28 games. That's good. But I'd like to see more. Over a course of 162 games, over his last 28 games, if you were to add those up to per 162, he'd have 29 home runs and 98 RBIs. Those are obviously very good numbers. But I think Keibert Ruiz is better than that. I think he can be better than that. But he has no consistency in his game. He does not get on base at a consistent rate. He does not take pitches at a consistent rate. He swings way too often. Doesn't have a very consistent key to a strike zone here. So I don't know when it's going to click for him. But this was supposed to be the second half where he really takes off, and he has improved. But in my opinion, the improvements have to be a little bit more than what they are. And it starts with a little bit more power. And then you got to take more walks. Because you are one of the worst hitters in the National League as far as walks go. Be more picky. Don't just be so selective and swinging a strike just because it's a strike. Find your pitch, barrel it up, and then see what happens with Keibert. But at this point in time, he's been good, but he's also very, very replaceable. DJ Herz, around this time last year, was one of those intriguing prospects. Very intriguing. He was striking out a ton of guys in Double-A. The Nationals traded for him. Filthy changeup. Very good stuff. Bright future. He is now up in the bigs. And it is a Herz day on a Thursday, on a rainy Thursday, in fact. DJ Herz has been one of your Nationals' better starting pitchers over the last month plus. Really. We'll discuss that and get into this Herz day. Before we get into it, though, today's episode is brought to you by SupplyHouse. And get supplies from the site that's made for the skilled trade, SupplyHouse.com. SupplyHouse.com is a reliable way to order plumbing, h-vac, and electrical products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Shop a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from over 400 top brands and get your order delivered right to your door with fast shipping from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Get expert support, industry-leading service from the friendliest folks in the business, and talk to a real person every time. Pros in the skill trades can get a competitive edge by joining SupplyHouse.com's free Trade Master program. Every Trade Master gets access to a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Join the thousands of trade pros already benefiting from the free membership at SupplyHouse.com/TM and order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies from anywhere with just a few clicks at SupplyHouse.com. Now we get back into it with the Washington Nationals taking on the San Francisco Giants today. So, the Giants and the Nats. Interesting. Not interesting whatsoever. But Kyle Harrison against DJ Herz, so it's a lefty versus a lefty. But as I said, DJ Herz has sneakily been one of the Nats, actually the best starting pitcher for the Nationals over the last month plus. The numbers say that as well. Over his last 5 starts, he's accumulated 25 innings pitched, 20 hits given up, 9 earned runs, 6 walks, 32 strikeouts, 4 home runs given up, a 3.24 ERA, a 3.53 fielding independent pitching, and a 6.72 OPS against. DJ Herz, in the dream of when you traded Jeimer Candelario last year at the deadline for DJ Herz and Kevin Midday, who's still down in the minors, doing solid, but nothing too special at this point. The dream of DJ Herz really breaking out for the Nationals has come to fruition. And he has been very good. The key to this is, well, if you look back at like my May episodes, early June, when DJ Herz was in Rochester and he was walking the yard, keyword, walking batters. He was walking everybody. His walk rate was way high. At points, he was walking nearly 6 guys per 9 innings. Way too much to be a big league starting pitcher and be an effective one. And even then, early on in his major league career, you were kind of like, he does throw a lot of balls. But ultimately, he was still very good. DJ Herz has really come into his own. And you're starting to see it right now on paper as well. Only 6 walks over his last 5 starts, which then lead to these numbers. I think we've always known that if DJ Herz were to cut down on the walks, he would be an effective big league pitcher, even out of the bullpen, but as well, best case scenario as a starter. And as he continues to start, as he continues to get better and grow into his own, you're starting to see that dream come to fruition a little bit more. DJ Herz has been your best starting pitcher over the last 5 starts, with Mackenzie Gore struggling, with Jake Irvin kind of getting rocked around last night, giving up 3 home runs. You have this young guy, 23 years old, turning 24. DJ Herz has been legit. You want to see him finish out this season and finish it in a strong way. And this kid's going to be in your rotation going to next year without a doubt in my mind. Without a doubt. More so than Mitchell Parker. He's going to be your 4 or 5 starter, in my opinion, going into next season. I don't think that's a bad thing at all. You'll see what the Nationals do with them, but at this point in time, you have to think DJ Herz, he's legit. So thank you all for making Locked On Nats your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. Enjoy today's game. It's going to be raining. I'm looking out the window again right now. It looks cloudy. I see a plane taking off into the clouds here as I'm in Arlington, and you can kind of see all that stuff. But if you go to the game, bring an umbrella, bring a rain jacket. It's going to be a tough one, but maybe the game gets in. My guess, I think it does get in, but that may just be me. So good luck with that. I don't know. I might go over. I might not. It's going to be raining. I don't really like the rain. So there's that. Thank you all for making Locked On Nats your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And of course, we will catch you on the flip side. Have a good one. Go Nats.